I used to think love was enough. That if you were loyal, patient, and honest, everything else would fall into place. My days had a rhythm. Wake up, send a good morning text, grab coffee, and wait for that one message. Can't wait to see you. Came like clockwork. My partner was charming, funny, the kind of person who lit up rooms and made you feel like the only one in it. I held on to that feeling like it was gospel. We weren't perfect, but we were close. Or so I thought. Every detail was etched into my routine. We had inside jokes only we understood, saved playlists with corny love songs, silly selfies I'd scroll through when I missed them. People around us used to say, "You two are goals." And I believed them. Even when small things started to feel different. Slightly colder replies, long typing pauses that ended in short answers, a sudden increase in group projects or study sessions they couldn't really explain. I brushed it off. Love needs trust, I told myself. Don't be insecure. They wouldn't do that to you. Our usual hangout was the canteen. We had shared so many moments there. First real date, late-night coffee runs, casual lunches with teasing glances across the table. It was our place. Maybe that's why it hit so hard. I remember that day clearly. I was early for once. They didn't know I was coming. I had this dumb idea to surprise them with their favorite snack and a note I scribbled on the back of a receipt. "Still crushing on you." I thought it would make them smile. Walking toward the canteen, I remember this weird heaviness in my chest. Maybe my body knew something my heart didn't want to accept. I ignored it, pushed the door open, and everything slowed. I scanned the room, expecting to see them alone or maybe with friends. Instead, I saw something else. I saw them. And someone else. Together. Smiling in a way they hadn't smiled at me in weeks. Froze. Blinked, hoping I was wrong. They were sitting close. Too close. Fingers brushed across the table. A laugh, real, soft, familiar, escaped from them. The same laugh that used to be mine. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until my lungs screamed. But my legs wouldn't move. I felt rooted, like my entire body betrayed me. I wanted to walk away, scream, cry. Anything, but I stood there, just watching. That moment, without warning, cracked something open inside me. A quiet voice whispered something I didn't want to hear. "You weren't imagining it. This is real." I turned around and walked out without them ever seeing me. My hands were shaking. The bag I was holding felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. The note, meant to make them smile, was still inside, unread, irrelevant now. Funny how everything can change in less than 5 minutes. All it took was one look, and suddenly, I didn't know who I was to them anymore. I didn't sleep that night. My phone kept lighting up with their usual texts. "Where are you? Missed you at lunch. Everything okay?" I stared at the screen until the battery died. No part of me wanted to answer. I didn't need an explanation. I saw enough. I heard enough. Still, my mind kept playing tricks. Maybe I misunderstood, maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But deep down I knew. You don't whisper like that, you don't touch someone like that, unless you've already crossed a line. By morning I was empty. Numb but not calm. Like standing in the eye of a storm. Just waiting for the wind to start spinning again. I didn't tell anyone. Not yet. I carried it alone. Every word they texted felt like a lie. Every emoji, every love you felt sharp. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead I waited. I didn't confront them. Not right away. I needed to collect myself. I needed to be sure I wouldn't fall apart when I saw them. Because a part of me still wanted to believe there was some twisted, impossible explanation. Gave them a day. Then another. They went on like nothing happened. On the third day I asked to meet. They came with a smile, leaned in for a hug I didn't return. I sat still. I asked how their week had been. They said it was stressful, full of assignments. Lied straight to my face. He nodded. Let them speak. Then I asked slowly, "Did you enjoy lunch at the canteen a few days ago?" The smile faded just a little. They said they hadn't gone. Too busy. I leaned forward. "I saw you. With them." Silence. Their face drained of color. First came denial. Then questions. "What are you talking about?" Then realization. Then panic. They started to explain, voice shaking. Said it wasn't what it looked like. Said they were just talking. That it was a mistake. That they didn't mean for it to go this far. I sat through every word without flinching. They tried to paint it as confusion, as loneliness, as a momentary lapse. But you don't get that intimate in public unless you're comfortable. Unless it's not the first time. I knew it wasn't the first time. They admitted it. Slowly. Said it had been happening for a few weeks. Said they didn't want to hurt me. Said they loved me, just got close to someone else. As if that made it better. I asked if they ever planned to tell me. They didn't answer. I asked if they were still seeing the other person. They didn't answer that either. Silence said enough. I stood up. They begged. They cried. They said I was overreacting, that it didn't mean the same thing. I told them I don't share love. That I don't beg for loyalty. What hurt most wasn't the cheating. It was the lies. The performance. The months of pretending everything was fine. I left them sitting there, trying to justify betrayal with tears. I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. The days after felt unreal. I went through the motions, but I wasn't really there. I wasn't eating much, wasn't talking to anyone. My phone stayed on silent, and I ignored every call from them. It wasn't about being dramatic. It was about survival. I needed space to breathe, to think, to feel everything that was crashing down. I didn't cry much. I felt more sick than sad. The betrayal didn't just touch my relationship. It infected everything. Every memory, every plan we made, all of it now looked different. Like someone had flipped the colors upside down. What kept replaying in my mind wasn't even them. It was the other person. The way they laughed together. The ease between them. That's the part that gutted me. It wasn't just a mistake. It was something that had grown slowly while I was giving my all. That realization turned hurt into something colder. I stopped blaming myself. I started replaying the signs I ignored. I saw how I excused their distance. How I explained away late replies and changed stories. I let my love blind me, and I hated that. I didn't talk about it until someone else brought it up. Someone I trusted. A friend who had been quiet lately. They sat next to me one day, hesitating before speaking. I didn't know if I should say anything, they began, and that sentence alone made my chest tighten. They told me they'd seen my partner with that same person weeks ago. In the same canteen. Holding hands. Whispering. Back then, they didn't want to be the one to break my heart. They thought maybe it was a one-time thing, maybe it was innocent. But when they saw me shut down lately, they knew. I didn't know whether to thank them or feel betrayed by their silence. I just nodded. I was too tired to be angry. It just confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't new. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a choice they made again and again. The worst part. They looked me in the eye during those weeks, told me they loved me, held me like nothing was wrong. That level of deception changes something inside you. It rewires how you trust, how you see people. They tried reaching out again. Sent long messages. Said they were sorry. Said they missed me. Said I was the best thing that ever happened to them. I didn't reply. What was the point? Words are easy when the damage is already done. I realized I didn't need closure from them. The closure was in knowing I deserved better. In knowing I'd never let myself beg for someone to stay loyal again. I took a deep breath, blocked their number, and deleted our pictures. Not out of spite, but because I was done keeping pieces of someone who never respected me enough to stay mine when I wasn't looking. It wasn't just about ending a relationship. It was about choosing myself after someone else didn't. I didn't expect healing to feel so quiet. No grand moment, no sudden peace. Just a slow return to myself. I stopped checking my phone for their name. I stopped flinching when someone mentioned relationships. It wasn't easy. Trust doesn't grow back overnight. I carried that scar like a weight at first, but over time it started feeling more like armor. I didn't need revenge or a dramatic closure. I just needed distance, and I gave that to myself fully. The silence that once hurt became a space where I could breathe again. People noticed I changed. I wasn't as loud, wasn't as available. I was more intentional with who I gave my energy to. It made some friendships fall off, and I didn't mind. I only had time for real ones. There was one person who stood by quietly the entire time. Never pushed, never pried. Just showed up, sent a meme here and there, checked in subtly, kept things light when I needed distraction and listened when I didn't. I never looked at them that way before. They had always been in the background. Uncomplicated. We started talking more. At first it was just late-night messages, sharing music, dumb jokes. Then longer calls, deeper talks. I told them everything. How I'd felt, what I went through, how small I had let myself become for the sake of someone else. They didn't offer fixes. They didn't try to paint it over with romantic clichés. They just let me be raw without flinching. That kind of presence is rare. I didn't realize how much I needed it until I had it. What surprised me most was how different it felt. Being cared for without games, without the highs and lows. No guessing, no second guessing. Just consistency. I wasn't looking for anything new, but sometimes the heart knows before the mind catches up. I noticed how their words landed softer. How they looked at me like I was enough even in silence. It wasn't some big confession. No movie scene moment. Just small things. The kind that feel real because they are. One evening they said something simple. I like who you are, even with the scars. That stayed with me. It wasn't about fixing me. It was about seeing me fully and still choosing to stay. That's something I never got from the one who broke me. I didn't rush into anything. Took my time. Because this time I wasn't going to shrink myself to fit into someone else's world. I wanted someone who would build a space with me, not around me. Eventually something shifted. Not fast, not loud. But undeniable. I let it happen. I let myself feel again. Not because I forgot the past, but because I learned from it. That canteen moment didn't destroy me. It revealed who didn't deserve me. And cleared the way for someone who did. Funny how the worst moment of your life can lead you straight to the piece you didn't know you were missing. Sometimes what breaks you is the very thing that makes space for something real. And this time I'll hold on to that with both hands.